But
He's adjusted.
we took calls about calling for this Doug Peterson's head.
Run the
guy's a straight
run the
G.
ball.
You haven't seen the video of him talking to the team in the locker room. What a cool customer. What a coach. A million times better than Andy Reid. Andy Reid could have never coached a game like that yesterday. Not in a million, bajillion, gabillion years.
He did a fabulous job. He did everything he had to do. I mean, he really did. I mean, that was as well coached a game as you're going to find anywhere. They had a great game plan to kill the Vikings defense. I don't think it hurt to have Jeffrey on the team because Jeffrey plays against them. He played against them twice a year for several years.
He had the most touchdowns in his career are against the Vikings.
Well, I think he knows their defense.
He pretty much
well.
owns Xavier Rhodes.
Well, he
proved it again yesterday. Xavier Rhodes is a damn good player.
Yeah, you're right though. He did own him. I mean, no question about it.
Charlie DeMuro, clock management. Doug Peterson's clock management blows Andy Reid's clock management out of the water. Andy Reid didn't have a clue when it came to clock management.
Andy Reid did not know how to run the clock. That was always an issue with him. I mean, I remember how exasperated Eagle fans used to get with him with always having to waste a timeout early, always having illegal procedure penalties or delay game penalties at the worst possible times. No, Doug Peterson has done a great job, especially, I mean, to me, the job is with what he's done with the offense because the fact that he has Nick Foles as quarterback and basically he hasn't missed a beat. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, Nick Foles is not Carson Wentz. He does not have the strong arm that Carson Wentz does. He is not mobile like Carson Wentz, but you know what? He was able to basically guide that team down the field nearly, it seemed like, every time they had the ball. And what a great job he did. I mean, he was magnificent yesterday. He was able to throw the short ball, the long ball. Zach Ertz was open all day. I mean, obviously, he's his favorite receiver. He was able to get him the ball whenever he needed to, every time there was a big spot. I mean, it was total domination on both sides of the ball. You know, when Minnesota started turning it over, when they turned it over, that was the end of them.
Deion Brown, all I'm concerned with is the officiating crew, who's calling the game. Brady is going to – Gene Steratore is calling the game. The infamous index card referee has drawn the – so it's not Pete Morelli, thank God. And it's not Ed Hockley. Ed Hockley called the game yesterday. I thought there was going to be a penalty fest. It was not. Relatively clean game. Darby will be on Cook, keep a spy on Gronk, try to beat us with the run. If you force the Patriots to beat you with the run, I mean, Deion Lewis is not running on the Eagles' defense. James White is not running on the Eagles' defense. Rex Burkhead is not running on the Eagles' defense.
I think they will run when
Who else? They have Gilsley up there.
Khaleesi, I think he's not going to play. Isn't he still? Well, I don't know. Maybe in 2 weeks.
Well, they don't
he'll
dress
healthy.
him because he fumbled a couple times.
Well, Lewis had that problem too. Until like game 5 or game 6, he finally won the job and he stopped fumbling. But then he had a big one yesterday. So, but then again, he also had the big run at the end of the game to put the game away.
He did.
You know, I mean, we'll see about that. I do think that the Patriots will try to run the ball. I think they will make an honest effort to run the ball, so that they won't be too one-dimensional. But I think the bottom line is they will throw the ball because that's what they did against Jacksonville when they had to. When push came to shove, they used their biggest asset and their biggest weapon, Tom Brady, to move the ball down the field. And when they needed to score, they scored. I mean, Jacksonville's defense did a great job. They put a lot of pressure on Brady, especially in the first half. But the second half adjustments by the coaching staff really was remarkable. But because the Patriots, when it was 14-3, you could sense that game turning.
Well, let me tell you something. If the Patriots wait till 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter to get cooking, it's going to be too late against this team.
I would agree with you because the difference between Jacksonville and the Eagles is that Jacksonville cannot score like the Eagles can. The Eagles can score. And they will score points against the Patriots. But again, the Patriots, boy, when they get rolling, they're tough to stop.
So are the Eagles.
Agreed.
So are the Eagles.
But we'll see though in a big game though. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, yesterday was a big game. Atlanta was a big game.
It was a big game. I would agree with you. The Eagles' offense didn't really show up against Atlanta, but they showed up yesterday.
31-17 Birds. Love it. Love the confidence. 31-17. I think they definitely scored 31 points on the Patriots defense, which is nothing special.
Okay, we got from Todd Womack. They can they can Try to one. We just need to stay in Brady's face. I agree 100%. The key to beating the New England Patriots is you got to do what the Giants did to them in the Super Bowl, and that's hit them, and keep hitting them, and make them aware, make them have happy feet. Don't let him be able to set and throw the ball, because if he does set and throw the ball, he's gonna find an inch, because the guy is that good. I mean, if the ball needs to be on the right shoulder or the left shoulder, he's gonna put the ball there. I mean, it's so good, it's ridiculous. But that's what they need to do, and they got to make it a real long, painful day for Brady if they're going to beat the Patriots.
Great point here by Valerie Castro. Philadelphia Eagles for the win. Give us the underdog Rudy moment that pretty much all of America wants. Everybody's rooting for the Eagles, unless you're from Boston or you.
Well, I don't know about that. I think New York, they're probably. Well, I don't know. They don't like the Patriots.
Nobody's rooting for the Patriots. Everybody hates the
This
Patriots.
is
They're a
very
bunch
true.
of cheaters. They win all the time. They're the evil empire. The Eagles coming in with the dog mask. I mean, maybe New York will root for the Patriots. Maybe they'll root against the.
I think it's. I'll tell you what. The Jet fans will be rooting for the Eagles.
Absolutely.
I don't know about the Giant fans. See, the Giant fans, we hate.
They might go to the movies.
Who
needs them?
We
anyway?
hate
Who cares?
We hate New England and we hate the Eagles, so it's very tough to distinguish.
When push comes to shove, I think the Giants fans will root for the Patriots if they have to.
I'll tell you what. I don't see. There weren't too many Giant fans that were rooting for the Patriots yesterday. Not when Tommy Coughlin's sitting up in the upper deck watching the game from his box.
Well, that's different.
So,
the Jaguars aren't in the NFC East.
No.
That's different. I mean, you have a rooting interest. You hate the Patriots. You have a rooting interest because Coughlin.
Well, yeah, he was a
got you
Giant
a
coach
couple
for a
Super
long
Bowls.
time, and you know what? He's as a GM. It's too bad we don't have him as a GM because he did a pretty good job putting that team together in 2 years.
That he did. Almost as good
mean-
a job as Howie Roseman.
Yeah, well,
Almost.
Howie Roseman has done it. He did it in 2 years too.
Guy Savory, Eagles plus 5.5 money. 100% agree with that.
Oh boy, so we're getting criticized now, and Rob, you mentioned this on Facebook before. We're getting criticized because there's a Brady jersey somewhere.
Yeah,
on
it's
this
right
wall.
behind you.
Oh, so everybody's gonna equip me to. Oh boy, that's not fair. This isn't my jersey. I didn't put it there. I have nothing to do with this jersey.
Tom put it there. Tom won't let us touch it.
Yeah, we asked to have it removed, and
Boss said no.
yeah, we wanted Weber's jersey taken down too.
Yeah,
and
that's to have Chris Webber associated with anything Hall of Fame is just an absolute travesty.
So please don't
Talk
equate
about
me.
being- talk
Don't
about
equate
all
me
the-
with this
all this-
jersey. I had nothing to do with that.
Chris Webber, look, his jersey is touching. It just irks the fiber of my being.
It's actually touching the great Peyton Manning's jersey too. Ugh, jeez.
Such a loser, Chris Webber. Just such a loser. So much talent, never done anything. Came to the Sixers, just collected a check.
Well, as a
and-
Sixer, yes. No, as a King, he was outstanding. But when he came here, he wasn't really interested in playing.
he always missed the big shot. Always missed the big shot. Could never get it done.
Well, if you remember, when Sacramento played L.A., Sacramento's answer to big shots was always Divac, because he was the one that took the big shot. While the Lakers had, who was it? The guy that always made the big shot.
Robert Ory.
Yes, Robert Ory. I mean,
Big shot, Bob.
yeah, he would drop everything. But okay, so we got Big Bomb 22. We want revenge on New England, and you should want revenge on New England. You got robbed the first time, and you'll get your chance. So we'll see what happens there. I'll tell you what, Minnesota. I'm just thinking about Minnesota for a week. Boston and Philadelphia fans mixed up for a week in the same bars, eating together, sleeping in the same motels,
I hate
having
Boston.
having breakfast together.
I was in Vegas.
the harmony, the peace.
I was in Vegas for the
Can you
Atlanta
feel
game.
Can you feel the love?
They're such losers up there. They're such entitled pricks up there.
They are pretty nasty. Some of them are pretty.
We're
nasty.
at the bar watching the Eagles game. 2:00 start out there in Vegas. We're on Pacific time. This complete moron is sitting at the table, just trying just being a dick, just to be a dick, just trying to get under my skin. And I'm drinking, and just like I'm like, dude, like what do you care? Why? He's like, oh, I have the under, but then every time someone scored, he was cheering. I thought you had the under. Then he's like, no, I have Atlanta. Like, oh, well, they just threw a pick, and I have the under. Well, you just said that. Just scum of the earth, just a total prick. And
Well, yeah. Now you know how we feel when they come to our stadium, and when the Red Sox fans come to Yankee Stadium, and they're all wearing their Ortiz jerseys, and they expect to not hear any abuse from anybody. They cry when somebody yells.
They're a bunch of idiots. I'll take the Yankees over the Red Sox any day of the week. As long as it's not the Mets. I hate the Mets.
Oh, I hate the Mets too. Met fans are the worst.
The Mets are the worst.
Met fans are the worst. And by the way, please do not equate Giant fans to Jet fans and Yankee fans to Met fans.
Well, I don't care about the Jets.
We are
I
not.
like the
I'm
Jets.
just saying we are. Yeah, but we are not. We are not. Yankee fans are not Jet fans. We are Giant fans. Met fans are Jet fans. It's the same mentality. Just want to make that clear.
Profoundly analyzed there, Brad.
Thank you. I just want to make sure that that's clear. It's just how we look at it. The over under is was, at least the last time I looked, it was 47.5. J Hot says the over under was 39. J Hot, I'm just curious. Are you saying 39 the last time they played or now? Because it was 47.5.
39. Jeez, that's low.
Yeah, it's not 39. This year it's 47.5. Now it might change. So, and
I think it's 48.
It's up to 48 now. Okay, I mean,
according to Sports Insights,
he might have
Rob,
been talking about today. Last night's game.
I was looking this morning.
Last night's was 39.
Oh, last night's was 39. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah, no,
I would have bet the under all day.
Yeah, I would have too.
I didn't know the Eagles. I didn't know Nick Foles was going to pull a John Elway and have
and be and have a perfect game basically. I mean, I mean, you really. I'll tell you what. I have to be honest. I did not think Nick Foles had it in him to play like that. He was unbelievable.
His prop bet in Vegas was 182 passing yards.
Well, I think he had that after the first half, didn't he? Did he have that in the second quarter?
He might have had that in the second quarter.
Yeah.
On the launch to Jeffrey.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
Went over that.
I mean, he had a remarkable game, and you know what? I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that again. I do think that this is the kind of game that if it's going to be a track meet, I think that might favor New England, but we'll see. I mean, again, I think for the Eagles to slow the New England offense down, they've got to stay on the field and get the running game going and keep Brady off the field. Because, it seemed like yesterday when New England's defense finally stopped Jacksonville from throwing that screen pass all day long, because it seemed like they were two plays that they were running. It was the cross across the field and the screen pass. And once Belichick finally made the adjustment so they would stop that play, Jacksonville did not have an answer. I mean, they tried going deep a couple of times, and, Gilmore was there. If it wasn't Gilmore, then it was the other guy on the other side. I mean, the team was just – the New England Patriots defense yesterday in the second half played lights out.
Raw 25 is going on right now. Apparently, epic Stone Cold opening. Well, anytime Stone Cold comes out, I'm all in. But listen to Lazy Booking on Thursday. We're talking about the Eagles right now.
Okay.
Nick Foles before he got traded. They were caught up on Facebook here.
Okay, we got J-Hot. Tom Brady is going to get planted into Minnesota's turf. I can't say the rest of it. You know you can't. You know I'm not going to say those words. Come on.
What, is he cussing?
He's using profane language and mentioning a brand of a condom, so I can't use those words.
That's nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Say way worse.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like to say that. We had some pretty
That's the
disturbing.
That's the whole key to the Super Bowl. Are the Eagles going to be able to get there with their front four like they have all year? I think the answer is definitely yes. The Patriots offensive line is nothing.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, they have guys that can block, and their running backs can block. They got a good line. I mean, don't sell them short. Now, is their offensive line the best offensive line in the league? No, but they've got a quarterback who can
But the
basically
Eagles'
take a three-step
defensive line
drop.
is the best in the league.
Arguably, yeah.
Who's better?
Maybe Jacksonville. Maybe. It's pretty close. I mean, listen, if you're asking me, I wish I had a defensive line like that with the Giants. So, I mean, it's very, very good. But I do think that the Patriots will score just like they always do.
Well, I mean, what? They're going to shoot 21 points?
No, I think they're going to get 30.
They're not hanging 30 on the Eagles.
I think they could hang 30 on the Eagles,
Well,
definitely.
obviously they could, but they're not going to.
Well, the Giants
No
almost did.
shot.
Giants put 29 on them.
When?
The last game that they played against each other.
Which was?
What, like a month ago? The game they played in Giants Stadium, they beat them 34-29. The Giants put 29 points on them.
This season?
Yeah, this season. Game in Giants Stadium. As a matter of fact, the first game that the two teams played, the Giants lost 27-24 on that 61-yard
When
field
did
goal.
the Giants and the Patriots play this year?
No, I'm talking about the Giants and the Eagles.
Oh.
I'm just saying, if the Giants could put 29 on them, the Patriots could certainly put 30 on them. I mean, it's not impossible. They have New England has the coach that can figure this stuff out. I mean, I'll tell you what. Yesterday,
Doug P's gonna be figuring some shit out too.
I understand that, but if you look at it,
This isn't a coaching mismatch like it was the last time these teams.
no,
played
I'm not
in
saying that,
2004.
but think about what a gutty win that was for
Doug
the
P
Patriots.
is a bona fide big game coach.
Think about what a gutty win that was for the Patriots. They're down 14-3. They lose their top offensive player, other than Brady, gets knocked out with a concussion. They're down by 11 points. Then they're down by 10 to start the fourth quarter, and they against
Down by 10 with like 8 minutes to go, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
correct?
and then they go up against arguably one of the best defensive teams in the league, in both leagues, and they're able to put 14 points up against them and win the game. And I mean, and then they had to still make a stand after they took the lead, which they did. They were able to make the stand, not allow the Jaguars to march down the field and try to take the lead and win the game. I mean, they really did a great job on that. Now, do I think that the Eagles are going to make the same mistakes Jacksonville made in big spots? No. And that's
I said, they're
not going to. Yeah,
they're still learning. They're still finding their way.
The weight of getting to the Super Bowl.
Collapsed the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, that did the Jaguars, and they made a lot of mistakes that you just can't make.
They don't have one key contributor like over the age of 25. No, it's not surprising that happened.
No, and I mean Bortles. I thought Bortles played a pretty good game yesterday,
especially the first half. He was slinging.
And I still don't understand why Bortles was taking two knees with 2 timeouts and 57 seconds to go.
No, I don't know either. Well,
I mean,
that's just
Doug Marrone really screwed that up. I mean, you can sit there and say, "Oh, well, we wanted to make sure we had the lead at halftime in New England." To beat the New England Patriots, you've got to take every opportunity to score as many points as you can against them. Just ask the Atlanta Falcons. Ask the Seattle Seahawks. If you have a chance to score and you leave points on the board against them, or you don't try to do something and take chances and gamble a little bit to try to score extra points against them. If you don't do that and you start playing conservatively against that team, you're going to lose because they will win the game.
They know how to do it. They were chewing them up in the first half too.
Oh, they were marching right down the field.
Huge chunks of yardage because the Patriots defense is not that good.
Well,
it's not that good.
They weren't playing press coverage, and they weren't getting the Bortles. In the second half, they played press coverage. They also started blitzing a little bit to get to the quarterback, and they did. And that basically turned the whole game around. That's the one thing Belichick does so well is that he can find a way to make the adjustments that he has to make, and that's basically.
I want to talk about Tom Brady's legacy for a second. Is there a more clutch athlete in the history of sports than Tom Brady?
Michael Jordan, maybe.
I'm taking Brady. I'm
Six,
taking Brady every time. That
six
guy
champ-
slept walk
six
through
championships.
75% of an AFC championship game and flipped the switch and is going to a Super Bowl yet again.
Well, I guess the question is it harder to get to the Super Bowl than it is the NBA Finals? And I would say yes. Because I think it's harder
to get to the Super Bowl.
It's harder to get to a Super Bowl than it is to get to an NBA Finals. Because if you in the NBA, if you have the best players, you have a soft salary cap so that you can re-sign all your players. You don't have to lose anybody. The only way you lose people is if A, they don't want to play for you, or you just can't afford them because you're a team that just doesn't make enough money to pay out the players. But as far as keeping them, you can the way the NBA is set up with their salary cap, you can basically keep all your players and never lose them. In the NFL, you're losing guys every year, whether it's your assistant coaches, whether it's key players. That's why what the Eagles did was so impressive.
That's why
to
you
be
need
able
the
to
executive of the year, Howie Roseman.
Oh, he did a
Pulled the
fantastic
string.
job.
But
doing that.
He's more clutch than Jordan. He's more clutch than Jeter. I don't know if there's a hockey guy that's the equivalent. You can answer that better than me.
Well, I mean, you want to go back to the 50s and 60s with the Canadians? That's a long time ago. I mean, I mean, if you want to say Mark Messier when he was what he did was what he's able to do with the Edmonton Oilers and then win a Stanley Cup with the Rangers, I mean, you can make that argument, but if you want to go back to like Jean Beliveau with the Canadians and guys like that, Boom Boom Jeffrey on and that whole game, Maurice the Rocket Richard, I suppose you could put those guys in. I suppose you could also say Ken Dryden in hockey because the Canadians were busy winning Stanley Cups, and then Ken Dryden decided he wanted to go to law school.
You can go golf. You can go golf. Tiger Woods and his
when he had his run, he was
2000
dominant.
to
Jack Nicklaus had
08,
a nice
09.
run.
I'm taking Brady over all of them.
You really over Jordan though? I mean, I don't know. It's tough to take him over Jordan, but I mean, listen, I don't want to take anything away from
bigger
Brady.
sample size.
Yeah.
Didn't try and go play a different sport in the middle of his career.
No, and he like Ken Dryden. I guess he wanted to give other teams in the league a chance to win.
Brady's not going to do that. This is a killer.
No. Yeah, I mean,
he says he wants to play till he's 50, and I believe him. He gets better every year.
George Blanda played till he was almost 50. I mean, as a starting quarterback though, I just don't know. I don't know that you can be a starting quarterback when you start getting to be over 40. It's hard to play all the games. I mean, they might start developing another quarterback to play, and then you bring him in the fourth quarter to pull the game out.
They just traded their developmental quarterback.
Yeah, and you know what? That looks like the San Francisco 49ers got themselves a real big-time quarterback because when he came,
I'm a big fan of Jimmy Garoppolo.
I'll tell you what, I think next season in the NFC West, I think you're going to be looking at the Rams and the 49ers. I think the Seahawks are going.
Yeah, and I hate the Seahawks.
Well, don't we all?
Yeah.
I think we can both agree on that.
I guess we'll see with the Cardinals, but yeah, I'm a big Jimmy Garoppolo fan. I think the Niners might make the playoffs next year.
I think they could possibly beat the Rams. I mean, they have a good running back. Carlos Hyde is good. They really could use a receiver, a good receiver. And you know what? In the place where they're drafting, they should be able to get a good receiver. So I mean, that should not be a problem. We have first name, last name. I don't know who that is, but what's up with Gronk? Well, we don't really know what's up with Gronk. We know he had a concussion and he left the game.
Hey, he's got a concussion. He got bumped on the head. He's got 2 weeks. There's no way Gronk's not going to be out there for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I
No
mean
shot.
we don't know how bad a concussion it was. We don't know how many concussions Gronk has had in his career. That's the only problem, really. And that, depending on how many.
Who cares? He has CTE already. They all do.
No, I realize that, but once you start having concussions, it takes longer to come back from them each time. So.
Well, any Eagles fan that thinks Rob Gronkowski is going to be sitting out the Super Bowl, I think.
Oh no, I think
mistaken.
yeah, I would plan for
They'll
him to be
fudge.
there.
They'll fudge the concussion protocol like the Seahawks always do, and Russell Wilson gets leveled.
Most likely. I mean, I don't think you could count on him not playing.
Would you pay a $150,000 fine to violate the concussion protocol so you can have Gronk for the Super Bowl? If I'm Robert Kraft, I'll pay it twice. Once for this time, once for the next time.
If he's able to play, and he will be able to play.
He's gonna be
pretty
fine.
sure. Yeah,
he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Eagles do have Malcolm Jenkins though. That's a good a matchup as any at the safety position.
Hard to believe the Saints let him go.
Malcolm Jenkins. Yeah, they tried to sign that dope Jarius Byrd that me and every other Eagles fan wanted instead of Malcolm Jenkins. What has he done?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, why would you guys let him go? Boy, I mean, he is definitely the heart and soul of that defense.
Another thing I wanted to bring up on my little list of topics here. Remember my boy Chip Kelly, that putz, that jackass. Remember he had this trade Sam Bradford because he couldn't win with Nick Foles.
Mm-hmm.
Now Doug Peterson comes in and we're in the Super Bowl with Nick Foles as a starting quarterback.
Well, I think we established the fact that Chip Kelly is not a very good judge of talent.
And then Sam Bradford, he's on the bench in Minnesota, who got killed yesterday.
Yeah, I wonder who's going to be their starting quarterback next year. That should be interesting.
Well, Teddy Bridgewater was mouthing off on Twitter today
yes, he
about
was.
how he thinks he expects to be the starting quarterback there next year.
Well, can he get on the field and complete a pass?
Interesting note, all three guys are actually free agents this offseason.
Well, Sam Bradford, you forget
all three
about
all three of those
three of
guys are free
you
agents.
Forget about Sam Bradford. I mean, if you really want to.
Oh, somebody will sign him.
Good luck.
Somebody will sign him.
Sam Bradford.
If the Raiders didn't have Derek Carr, wouldn't they be wouldn't they be the team that would pick him up?
Who? Sam Bradford?
Yeah, no. If they have Carr, but I'm just saying the old Raiders
right.
That would have been because they were always picking up guys.
John Gruden would chew up Sam Bradford and spit him out like
he would.
Skull chewing tobacco.
No, but I mean
It'd
the
be a
Raiders.
joke.
The
He's
Raiders
so
used
salty.
to.
He stinks.
I know, but the Raiders used to be known for that.
Stinks.
They picked up Jay Schrader. They picked up Kerry Collins. They picked up Rich Gannon, but Rich Gannon actually played well for them for a bit. So, but they were always known to be picking up these guys all the time. So.
Sam Bradford, he can go play rec league back in Norman, Oklahoma, and probably be average. His team will go 500.
You know who I could see Bradford going to? Possibly the Broncos or the Texans.
Well, if you want to go 8-8, you sign Sam Bradford. So that's what you're going to be. See, I'm rolling with Keenum. If I'm the
Vikings.
Correct. Maybe you
Over
draft a guy.
Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Bridgewater's got a lot more talent.
Does he?
He did when he was playing. Had a really bad injury, though. I don't know how he's going to play with that injury, and I don't know if his knee is going to hold up for a whole season. That's the problem.
Neither are perfect quarterbacks.
No. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Keenum.
It's like the Jaguars. I'm rolling with Bortles. I know it's not a flashy, it's not a popular pick. I know it's the Eli or draft a guy or get a big name in there, but this guy got you to the AFC Championship game. He went into Pittsburgh, won a playoff game. He's got mobility. He can throw the ball.
Played a great game in Pittsburgh.
Still young. They have Fournette, who's just an absolute animal in the backfield.
He is a beast, and boy, did he play well yesterday.
Look, three of the four teams in the conference championships had solid top to bottom, well-built rosters with marginal quarterbacks. Nick Foles, I mean, he played a great game yesterday, but he's a backup in this league. Over 16 games, he would get exposed.
Yeah, he would.
He's not Carson. I mean, I guess you could say that the Eagles don't have a marginal quarterback because they have Wentz, but Wentz is hurt.
Well, Wentz is great.
Look at the Vikings. Two great receivers, great running game, pretty good line. lights out defense, and Case Keenum. The outlier is
Keenum
Brady because it's Brady.
Keenum played well this season. I would give him that.
Point being, I think that because it's a copycat league, the trend is going to be, have a great roster and have a guy who can manage the game like an Alex Smith. If the Chiefs move on from Alex Smith, whatever team gets him, that's a good guy.
Isn't he a free agent?
I
I think Alex Smith's a free agent. Because
don't
I
know.
kept hearing, I keep hearing that the Cleveland Browns are probably going to draft him, and then they're going to draft Barkley with the first pick. That's what I keep hearing. So I mean,
The Browns are just.
that would be a bad. I tell you what, if they sign Smith and then they drafted Barkley,
Cleveland, what a ish. I mean,
I know, but I
boy
mean, that would
LeBron-
be-
my boy LeBron is struggling hard.
you know what
The Browns stink. They're having parades for 0-16.
Yeah,
The Indians are good,
The Indians are still very good.
but man,
Although I really wonder.
but
who's-
you have Crowell and Duke Johnson. You're gonna take.
You know, have we been able to talk about the fact that the Indians lost Santana and then picked up the guy that used to play for Oakland, Alonso?
Yonder Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've talked since that.
No, we haven't
since
talked
that-
in a while. I was in
Yeah.
Vegas, and then
Yeah, you had the problem with the traffic, so I don't know if we've talked since then.
I was on the train the one
yeah,
night.
that move is going to be an interesting move. Are the Indians better with Alonso than they are with Santana? Because I don't know about that.
I don't know. I seem to be the only Philly fan that's meh on the Carlos Santana signing.
Why is everybody mad on him? He's a good player.
Everyone's jacked.
Oh,
I think he's
okay.
going to hit 35 home runs and drive in 120 runs.
I don't know about
I don't-
120 runs, but
I don't
I
see
could
that
see
happening.
I could see 27 and 90. You know, I could maybe 30.
Phillies.
He could hit 30 in Philly in that stadium. But Cleveland's a pretty good stadium to hit home runs too.
Alex Smith is a free agent in 2019.
It's 2019. Okay.
So he's got 1 year left on his deal at 14 and a half, and then his signing is 3.6. Roster $2 million, workout. So cap hits 20.6.
So
the Browns could trade for him.
They're going to be looking to.
Kansas City's going to be looking to get rid of him because they're going to want to use.
They gave up. They gave up
They
a
drafted
whole bunch for Mahomes.
Mahomes. Yeah, they drafted Mahomes. What, in number 8 last year? Wasn't he like number
Real
7 or
high.
number 8?
Moved
Yeah,
up 10.
yeah. They
10th.
it was 10th. Okay,
But they
moved up a lot.
from what they were a good team. They were in the
Yeah, I mean, I think
division
it's
round. I think.
I think it's time. I think it's time for them to let the kid play. I mean, he had his year of watching. I think that's, they went old school with him.
It's a
And
huge risk.
oh, it is. But
It's a
you know
huge
what though?
risk because they have a good team.
Yeah,
They
do
get
have a good
Barry
team.
back.
Yeah. Well,
and
that
add a
killed
piece
them.
or
to
two
have him.
on their defense.
Well, they got to improve their secondary. Their secondary was terrible, especially against the Titans. I mean, the Titans, they couldn't get off the field in the second half against the Titans. I mean, that was embarrassing how they kept going down the field on them.
Yeah. Tell me about it. 9-point classic Andy Reid game right there.
Yeah, now we have Jacob Bloss saying that if Foles plays bad during the stretch, his value goes down. I guess they want to see if they could move him. Why would they want to do that?
Nick Foles isn't going anywhere.
Yeah,
You can't trade Nick Foles. What if you have to start Carson Wentz on the pup list next year?
Jacob Bloss in the chat said earlier, a couple comments before, what do you do with Nick Foles if he wins, though? And that's where that whole stream started coming
I'm
from.
holding.
Yeah,
I'm holding him.
Yeah, you can't. First of all, Wentz is probably not going to be back for the first month and a half of the season, so you're going to have to have somebody.
I mean, could be. Who knows? He could be ready. He's already off crutches and using a cane, so he might be ready. But why not have Nick? You gonna put Nate Sudfeld in there?
no,
You're not going on a magical run with Nate Sudfeld if something happens to Wentz again next year.
no, and you don't. And the one thing you don't want to do
Who
is
knows? Doug Pearson, he
bring
might
him back too soon.
He might have a 2-quarterback set up his sleeves. Who knows? He's that smart.
Yeah, but they're not gonna. They're gonna make sure that they are that he's absolutely 100% healthy before they put him back in there.
Now,
So-
now if you get to the trade deadline mid-season or something like that, and Wentz is in there cooking like Wentz was MVP caliber Wentz, he's healthy. Maybe you flip him at the deadline. Maybe you get a first-round pick for him. Maybe someone gets hurt or
I mean, let's see. Bleeding Green says there are 6 free agent quarterbacks this year. Highly doubt they'd get anything better than him, than a third, and I would want him in case Wentz gets hurt. That's very smart thinking on your part, and he says I don't think he'll succeed with another coaching staff besides Andy Reid's tree. And
it's probably right.
yeah,
It's
and first
probably
name,
a good
last name
point.
says God forbid. I mean, Nick Foles, when he was not on the Eagles, was not all that successful.
Well,
Although
he was with
last year,
that bum Jeff Fisher.
yeah, but last year
Most overrated coach maybe in
wasn't-
the history of coaches.
he was on Kansas City last year, wasn't he? Because I think he
Yes.
filled in. He filled in a couple of games for
Yes.
Smith last year, and he played pretty well, as I remember. I think he had like 180 yards one game and right around 200 the other game, and then Smith came back. So, I mean, he's not a bad fill-in quarterback ever. I mean,
He's a backup. He can't
Well-
start for a team. He can't start for 16 games.
Yeah, he will get exposed in 16 games. I mean, it is what it is, but he's definitely on a magical run right now, and he's playing great. You could see how confident he is and how he's feeling it right now. So you can't take that away. Boy, he's been on a mission since he's gotten in there, no doubt, and he's playing better every week. You can just see it.
The question is, what's better, the Eagles defense or the Patriots offense?
Well, we'll find that out.
Well, what's your opinion?
Oh, I think the Patriots offense will score. I don't think anybody can stop them. I mean, you can hold them down, but they're going to get their points. I mean, an outstanding effort by the Eagles would be to keep the Patriots down to about between 24 and 27 points. If they can do that, they have a chance to win this game. If the Patriots get over 30, they're not going to win the game. And the problem to me is that the Eagles at the link defensively have been unbelievably great. Away from the link, their defense has not been the same. And I know this is a neutral site, but it's still not the link. And for whatever reason, their defense seems to give up a lot of points on the road. And that just seems like a trend that's going to continue. So we'll see what happens there. One thing you're not going to have to worry about is the weather. Game's going to be indoors, so everything's going to be perfect there.
That's advantage Foles, if you ask me. Brady's going to kill it either way. He's going to get his either way. Nick Foles isn't good enough to have a stud game in any condition possible. So that's advantage.
He had a
Foles.
heck of a game yesterday, though.
It was nice out.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, as far as the weather goes, I would agree with you that it helps Foles more than it helps Brady because Brady is going to play the same way regardless of what the weather is like. So, as
The
I
Eagles
said,
have a better running game. The Eagles are better in the trenches. The Eagles are better than the Patriots at a lot of stuff. Maybe everything outside of quarterback.
yeah, but I don't know about the intangibles.
What do you mean?
Can't-
What do you mean you don't know about the intangibles?
I would disagree with the intangibles. The fact that the Patriots just have that it factor and
What about this Eagles team isn't it factor? This team's all it factor.
right, but again, they're playing the Patriots, who, in my opinion, are the best team in the league, and they have not played a team this good all
But
season.
based on what?
Based on the
Statistics don't back up your opinion. It's Brady. So it's
Brady,
automatic a win.
It's Brady and it's Belichick.
The Eagles are a better football team than the Patriots.
Not offensively, they're not. The Patriots have receivers are just as good, if not better, than the Eagles. The Eagles have a slightly better offensive line. I would give you that. Their running backs are certainly better, but the Patriots' defense is good. They have a good secondary. They got off to a terrible start this year. The first 5 weeks they were awful, but they seem to have adjusted and done what they've had to do. And if you look at the games, they've won. What is it, like 8 out of the last 9 games during the regular season, and obviously they've won their 2 playoff games. So I mean, they've only lost once in the last 2 months, 3 months. They've been an outstanding team. I don't know how you could be so confident that they're going to beat the Patriots, Rob. I wouldn't be that confident about it. I would have been a lot happier if I'm an Eagle fan facing the Jacksonville Jaguars and having to face Tom Brady.
Obviously, but the cookie didn't crumble that way.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, they're a winning team. They know how to win these kind of games. Again, they have the intangibles, and in the fourth quarter, if the game is close, they'll find a way to win the game. So that's my opinion, and I don't think that the Patriots are losing this game. I think that they're going to win this game. And then at this point, then you're going to have to be wondering, are these three guys going to stay together? Is this going to be the end of the coaching staff? Is Belichick going to stay? Are they going to keep him around? Because I don't know. It just seems to me.
Well, they're not going to fire Bill Belichick.
No, they're not.
He's going to retire or resign.
That's right. He might resign. I mean, I don't know. If he goes out on top, then you're going to have to wonder.
Well, that's 100% up to him. And if he wants to go out on top, he can do that.
And we are getting a "We Are the Champions of the World" song sung by DZ. And Roberto Garcia says we're going to beat the Patriots. They owe us for cheating the last Super Bowl. They can't record our plays this time. And Bleeding Green, I know that those stats come from Wens, but it's still from the supporting cast as well. Look, as I've said before, I just don't think that not Carson Wentz. I do not think that Nick Foles-led football team is going to beat Tom Brady. That's just my opinion. And until they prove otherwise,
it's not Nick Foles against Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady against the Eagles defense.
But it's also Nick Foles against. It's also Nick Foles against the Patriots defense.
The Patriots defense stinks.
It doesn't stink. Come on now.
It's not good.
Atlanta's defense wasn't that good either, and they only scored 15 points against them.
Much better. The 12th ranked defense, which is what Atlanta had, versus the 29th. There's only 32 teams.
But remember, most of the damage came early in the season when they weren't playing well. They did come back and play very well in the last 3 months.
Giving up yards and points all season. This is not a Bill
giving
Belichick
up yards.
defense.
Giving up yards is not the same thing as giving up points. It's just not. And you're not going to get free touchdowns against the Patriots the way you did against
the
Vikings.
Up.
They're not going to get. They're not going to get 4 turnovers against the Patriots.
Doug Peterson's not kneeing it with 2 timeouts and 57 seconds left.
No, but at the same point, Tom Brady is not throwing 2 interceptions and fumbling either.
How do you know?
Because the Eagles aren't that good to be able to get Tom Brady to do that.
Are you out of your mind? What NFL do you what team are you watching?
I think the
Eagles have been getting in quarterbacks' faces the whole season.
They're not going to do it to New England.
Forcing turnovers.
They're not going to do it to New England.
Why not?
Because New England is better.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. This is not the 2000. What was the one that went? The 07 Patriots that went 17.
By the way, they lost that game.
They lost to the Giants, but that was an all-world team. The biggest fluke in Super Bowl history that team lost.
That was a fluke. Okay.
That suck-ass Giants team. But
you mean the
Patriots put on the pedestal.
You mean the team with an all-time great defensive line that shut down Tom Brady?
All-time great defensive line. This Eagles defensive line shits on that Giants defensive line.
Okay.
And it's not even close.
Whatever you say, Rob. Who's
that's
exactly
the measuring stick,
if the
Eagles are going to win this football
game
or not.
Who's going to be on the Hall of Fame of the Eagles defense? On the Eagles defensive line.
You have one. Strahan will make it on that team.
Okay.
Jason Pierre-Paul. O.C. Umenyiora is a Hall of Famer.
O.C. Umenyiora.
Give me a break.
He couldn't play on the Eagles, right?
Give me a break. Terrell Owens isn't in the Hall of Fame, but O.C. Umenyiora is going to make it one day.
So you're saying
out of your mind.
Brandon Graham is better than O.C. Umenyiora? Come on,
it's the same type of player. It's a comparable. O.C. Umenyiora.
O.C. Umenyiora is one.
Jason Pierre-Paul. Come on.
Jason Pierre-Paul was not on the 07 team.
He's not?
No.
He was on the 12 one?
He was on the 12 one. I'm not talking about the 12 one. I'm talking about
the other guy from Notre Dame? Tuck.
Justin Tuck was a real good player.
Brandon Graham's better than him.
No, he's not.
Oh my!
I don't know what you're
goodness
watching,
gracious.
but obviously
You're not watching.
I'm watching.
So
I know
you
who is
think the
better.
Eagles defense is incapable of forcing
I
turnovers
don't think the Eagles
against
defense.
the Patriots offense?
I don't think the Eagles defense
Incapable.
was as good as the Giants defense in 2007. I think it was better than the 2012 one. But the Eagles defense is going to have to do the same thing to the Patriots as the Giants did.
And they're 100% more than capable of doing
The Giants held a team with Randy Moss on it, okay, and Tom Brady to 14 points that game.
And this team doesn't have to do that because this is not a vintage Patriots team. This is not an all-time great Patriots team.
But this
The
isn't an
Patriots
all-time great
defense
Eagles
stinks.
team. This is not an all-time great
Yes,
Eagles
it
team.
is. This is the best Eagles team of all time.
Maybe for the
best
Eagles.
in franchise history.
Maybe for the Eagles, but if you look at the realms of the NFL, this is not an all-time great team.
And the Patriots isn't either. There's not a team like that this year. You can't just make your prediction. Like, there's all-time great teams coming around.
Well,
with
you can
what?
predict.
I don't know, 5,
You
6,
can
7
predict.
years.
You can predict whatever you want to predict. But again, I don't think so. Now I could be proven wrong, but I don't think I will be. I think the Patriots are going to win.
You're in your box because you hate the Eagles so much, and you're such a hater that you think it's absolutely impossible that the Eagles can knock Brady around, force some turnovers, and win the game.
I don't think that Nick Foles.
You don't think
will
that's going
beat.
to happen? That's
will,
fine.
Will beat the.
We're not talking about
we'll
Nick
beat the
Foles
Patriots.
right now. We're not talking about Nick Foles.
I think they might be able to knock them around a little bit, but I still think they're going to score 30 points against the Eagles.
There's no shot that the Patriots score 30 points against the Eagles.
Okay,
no
I'll
shot.
remember that when I get back from Hawaii when we're
There's no
discussing.
shot.
Yeah, I think
can't
it's going to
believe
be
how you can watch this defense play all year and just blasphemously
because
disrespect it.
I saw
up
the
and
Rams
down.
I saw the Rams rip them up. I saw the Giants rip
Rams
them up
are
twice.
good.
I saw the Giants
Okay,
rip
they had
them
a
up
bad
twice.
game against.
They had two bad games against the Giants. Scored 24 one week and 29 another week. Okay, the Seahawks ripped them up. The Rams
they
ripped
lost
them
to
up.
Seattle.
Okay, the Chiefs ripped them up. They've been ripped up a few times, mostly on the road. Definitely not at home. They were very good defensively at home.
Bob
But, I
Raymond,
mean,
some
they-
of the best defense of all time and no Hall of Famers.
And who would that be?
You have to ask Bob.
Yeah, okay.
You all worked up because you're just.
I would say the best defenses of all time that have no Hall of Famers. You gotta be a little bit more specific than that.
What about the no-name defense? 1972 Dolphins. They went undefeated. They didn't even lose a game.
That ended up being a great team, but I'll be honest with you, the team the following season was better. The one that was 12-2, that was a better team. The team that went undefeated didn't play a team during the season that was more than 8-8. They had a very easy regular season schedule. The best team they played that year were the Jets, who were 8-8, and the 8-8 Giants. So they really didn't play anybody that season that was good. They did their job in the playoffs, though. They beat the Browns and they beat the Steelers, and then they went on to beat the Redskins. And they would have shut out the Redskins had they not come up with the Gary Premium play. But that Dolphin team had Hall of Famers on it. So I don't know.
I'm pulling up stats.
Nick
here.
Bonacani was a
Team
Hall.
stats.
Nick Bonacani was a Hall of Famer. So I don't know where he's getting, where you're saying that team had no Hall of Famers on the defense. And offensively, Larry Little, Larry Zonka, Paul Warfield, Mercury Morris. They had a lot of offense. They had a lot of players on their offense that were Hall of Famers. But they did. But Nick Bonacani is in the Hall of Fame.
Let me see what we have here. Defense. Total defensive state. The Patriots, you put them on a pedestal because they have Brady. And that's perfectly fine. He's a fantastic player. He's the best football player you and I have ever seen. And you're much older than me. So that's saying something. But
Can't argue with that.
Just
But Joe Montana was pretty good, too.
Tom Brady does not play middle linebacker.
No, he doesn't.
Tom Brady does not play defensive end.
Nope.
Nick Foles and the Eagles offense are not going to have a problem scoring against this defense.
We'll see about that.
They're not.
We'll see about that. I disagree. I think the defense will be good enough, and I think the Patriots offense at the end of the day will score more than the Eagles.
I can't. Greg, do you have a website you can go to to get total defensive stats, so we can just break down how shitty this defense is for the Patriots?
Well, how about looking at the players, because they got some pretty good players on their defense.
Okay, the Giants had good players.
Do you want to take a break and then we'll come back to that?
Yeah, awesome. I mean, the Giants had a bunch of good players on their defense, and they were a dog shit team.
What, this year?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them were hurt, too.
All right, let's take a break. Sports Hounds, Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
All right, welcome back. Sports Hounds. Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer, A2DRadio.com here in the BMW Atlantic City studios. Brad, you got some stuff on your phone here. This Patriots team.
Yeah, we wanted to talk about their defense. As I think we
Smoke
mentioned,
and
the
mirrors. They're not that good.
The first 4 weeks, they weren't good. They gave up
sucked.
42 to the Chiefs.
I remember a loss to the Panthers in there somewhere.
They beat the Saints in New Orleans 36-20. They gave up 33 points against the Texans, and they lost 33-30 in New England against the Panthers. After that, it was when they seemed to turn the quarter. They gave up 14 to the Bucks, 17 to the Jets, 7 to Atlanta, 13 to the Chargers, 16 to the Broncos, 8 to the Raiders, 17 to the Dolphins, 3 to Buffalo. They lost 27-20 to the Dolphins. Then they held the Steelers to 24, and they won in Pittsburgh 27-24.
Well, I mean, you
and then
every week.
37-16 against the Bills.
Yeah, but
I mean, their defense
you just
after
rattled off a bunch of dog shit teams, which is what you did.
well, the
Eagles
Steelers
of playing.
the Steelers are not a bad team.
Yeah, and they won by the skin of their teeth because nobody knows what a catch is.
Okay, they also beat the Falcons, which you guys did in the playoffs. I mean, basically their schedules were pretty much the same.
Okay, but they piled up their stats against a bunch of bad teams, and they lost to the Dolphins, who were a bad team.
Okay, they still held the Falcons to 7, and the Chargers are a good offensive
Okay,
team.
Eagles held the Falcons to 10.
Okay, so they both did a nice job, no doubt, and they both destroyed the Broncos. They both beat up the Raiders.
So,
and I mean,
outside of Tom Brady, who's the best ever, where is this gap where the Eagles have no chance in this game?
oh, you don't have an offensive player as good as Gronkowski.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, the receivers are pretty much
Christopher Lyons.
pretty much even.
You are right. Nick Foles will not beat the Patriots, but the Eagles will. This isn't tennis. It's a team game.
Okay.
The Eagles, top to bottom, have a better football team than the New England Patriots. Once again, the spread is stone wrong.
Okay. I think it's been wrong throughout the playoffs as far as the Eagles go. I would agree with that. But when it comes to this game, I think that they are right on the nose.
Dottie Eberhardt, I'm going to the 52nd Super Bowl. I'm so excited. This is my first Super Bowl in my life, and it's in my home, and it's my home team that's going. That's good work to get tickets, and I hope you bring it home, Dottie. That's pretty good. Going to the Super Bowl. Wonder what that set her back.
Boy, I heard on TV now that the licensed agencies are selling them for like $4,400 a pop. Man, I mean that is crazy money.
If I had it, I would go.
That's a lot of money though. that's really a lot of money.
Let's take a break, though, Brad. Let's switch over to hockey for a little bit. Flyers had a big weekend.
Flyers are looking good now, and I'll tell you what.
Firmly in a wild card position. They beat the Devils.
I think that
and
they can.
The Capitals.
I think they can make the playoffs now, and I'll tell you why. Okay. Right now, obviously, the Capitals are going to make it. The Blue Jackets are going to make it. I think you can pretty much bet the house that that's going to happen. The rest of the teams, though, if you look at that division, the New York Rangers right now are decimated.
Very injured.
They're banged up. They're on a West Coast swing. They're in trouble. I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs because the guys that they have injured right now, Shattenkirk just had knee surgery. Kreider had the issue where he had to had the thoracic outlet syndrome thing where he had to get a rib removed. He's not going to be around probably till March. So and neither is Shattenkirk. So you're going to have 2 months of no Shattenkirk and no Chris Kreider. Arguably Chris Kreider's the best forward on the team. Shattenkirk is the second best defenseman on the team. That's a killer, and the Rangers do not have a farm system to be able to counteract those kind of losses. The Carolina Hurricanes have been up and down all year. I think the Flyers have a better roster than they do.
Well, the one team that's out of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference right now is the Pittsburgh Penguins.
The Pittsburgh Penguins are an interesting team.
They're going to make the playoffs.
I think that they will find a way to get into the playoffs as well. The New York Islanders, unless they can fix their goaltending, I don't see them making the playoffs. But I mean, they could. They could. But by the way, if you want to make sure you make money betting hockey, the gift that keeps on giving is the Islanders and is the over when the Islanders play. Doesn't matter who they're playing.
Why?
Just bet the over.
Their goalie stinks.
Their goalie stinks, and they score like it's going out of style. I mean, that team is an offensive machine, but they don't stop anybody. The Devils just lost a very key player, so that's going to be a bit of a problem for them. Uh, I don't know. I mean, they haven't really been playing all that great as of late, so I can't sit here and say that the Flyers are necessarily gonna not finish ahead of them. I think the Flyers have a chance to make the playoffs this year. I wouldn't have said that early. I don't think that there was. I didn't think that there was any way at
We'll
that
see.
point.
The Rangers are really helping him out here by getting injured, and Pittsburgh is struggling. The Canadians are absolutely terrible. Like you said, I think they're better than the Hurricanes.
I think they're. I do think they're better than the Hurricanes, but if you look at the Devils, okay, they have guys who can score, but I mean they're missing the guy that, and I can't remember his name, Taylor Hall. I'm sorry, Taylor Hall is going to be out for a while, and that's a big loss for them because he is by far their best offensive player. And I think the Devils have been kind of doing it with smoke and mirrors the whole season. Again, now the Flyers are a team that's very up and down as well. So I mean they could end up losing 10 in a row at any time too. That's the problem. But it's just going to be a question of who's the most consistent out of these teams.
But I mean you got the Capitals. They're
well, the Capitals are going to
they're
make
real good.
they're going to make the playoffs.
Columbus is real good. Tampa Bay is really good. The Bruins are really good, and the Maple Leafs are playing really good.
Well, the Maple Leafs are a loaded young team.
Then you got the Devils, the Rangers, the Flyers, the Penguins, and the Islanders. And I guess you throw the Hurricanes in there for
Well, the Hurricanes have been playing well.
2 spots.
The Hurricanes have been playing well. They're another team that's been up and down, but I just don't think defensively they're good enough.
I mean, Montreal, good God, 44 points.
Montreal stinks. For whatever reason, they haven't been able to put it together. I think Pacioretty's going to get traded. I've heard that the Rangers are probably going to punt on the season at the trade deadline. All signs are pointing to it. They're feeling that even if they make the playoffs, whether they're the 7th or 8th place team, or even if they get to the 3 spot, they don't think they can win a first round playoff matchup. And I tend to agree with them.
You have Henrik Lundqvist.
I know, but if they can't. But the problem is they're missing Shattenkirk and Kreider right now. I don't know that they can win enough games between now and March, by the time they get those guys back, to be in the race.
Yeah,
If
but
they're
past those locks, I mean.
But listen, after the
The
trade
Devils are
deadline,
nothing. The Devils, they're good, but
they've been up and down too. But they're talking about possibly trading Nash. They're talking about even trading McDonough.
yeah, you guys have been trading Nash at the trade deadline for the past 4 years.
Yeah, but they may actually do it this year because he's a free agent. So, that he's a rental. So they may actually do it. I've heard Grabner might go. Zuccarello it might be available. I mean, they're looking to they're looking to punt on the season. They don't think that they can win the Stanley Cup with this roster. So I don't know. It just seems to me if you have Henrik Lundqvist on your team, you should be all in and try to win. But I don't think they're going to do that.
Devils are getting waxed right now by the Detroit Red Wings at home, 3-0. 7 minutes to go in the game.
Well, as I said, without losing that one player is going to be very, very tough for them to score. It's going to be tough for them. That's a huge loss.
Flyers are only 2 points behind the Devils. Get themselves out of that wild card spot. They just beat the Devils on Saturday. Beat Washington in Washington.
That was an impressive win yesterday.
Travis Konechny in overtime. Nice young player.
Yeah, it's amazing because when they lost 10 in a row, most of us were saying we're giving up on them and saying that they're not going anywhere, and now they're looking like they might be able to be a playoff team. The problem with the Metro is that some of these teams are not playing up to par, and if they're not going to play up to par, and some of them are injured, they have a shot now. They have as good a shot as any one of these teams to make the playoffs. I do think that when push comes to shove, as you said before, I think the Penguins, the Blue Jackets, and the Capitals are going to end up being the top 3. And then between the 4 and the 5, you're going to have a battle with the Devils, the Rangers, the Islanders, the Hurricanes, and the Flyers. And I think if the Flyers are able to just be consistent, The Rangers have injuries. The Hurricanes, you just can't count on them putting together a long streak because they just never seem to be able to get over the top. They're just not there yet. That is a good young team, though. I'll tell you what. Give them a year or two, they're going to be one of the top teams in the division. Because they're loaded with youngsters.
Let me run through. Is it the playoffs? If the season ended today, listen to these teams that would be on the outside looking in the Western Conference: the Kings, the Wild, the Ducks, the Blackhawks, and the Oilers.
Well, the Oilers are not going to make the playoffs. I think we can pretty much say that team is done. The shock of all shocks really is the Golden Knights. I mean, who would have thought that this team would be 31-11 and have 66 points and have the best team in the league? I mean, it's really hard to believe.
Winnipeg too. It's 63 points.
Winnipeg's been very good too, and I've been on all over them too. I mean, Winnipeg has been a very pleasant surprise. They've got a good team, Winnipeg.
Look at their goal differentials: plus 28 and plus 34.
Yeah, I mean they're
Vegas.
Winnipeg.
And Winnipeg.
Winnipeg can score, and Vegas at home I think has only lost 2 games this year, or it's either 2 or 3.
18-2-2 at home.
Yeah, they're
13-9-2 away.
Which is very respectable.
All the teams come in and they party all night in Vegas, so they win.
Well, yeah, that's as a matter of fact, one of my Facebook friends has mentioned that that's happened on more than one occasion, that these guys are all out at the casinos to all hours of the night, and then the next day they don't have anything left to play. So that could happen. I just don't know about Vegas in the playoffs, though. I mean, right now, let's see, as you said. Right now, you got the Jets, the Predators, the Blues, the Stars, and believe it or not, the red-hot Colorado Avalanche,
who stunk last year.
Yeah, they've won. I think they've won 9 or 10 in a row. Is it 9 in a row or 10 in a row?
Well, they've won 9 in a row.
They've won 9 in a row. Okay, thank you. They've won 9 in a row, and boy, I never would have seen that coming. They're at 55 points. The Wild are tied with them for 55, but they have 2 games in hand on the Wild. And then you look in the other division. The Kings have 55, but the Avalanche have 2 games in hand. The Ducks have 53, and the Ducks, unfortunately, they've been playing a lot better, but they were so banged up for the first half of the season. I mean, Kessler just recently came back. They haven't had Raquel for most of the season. They've had a hard time scoring. Now that they've got everybody back, they've been playing better, and they're starting to win games again. But they're in trouble right now. It's going to be interesting in that West. I think you can safely say the Oilers, the Canucks, and the Coyotes are gone. The Blackhawks, boy, they've been disappointing. I mean, they're 22, 18, and 6. If you add everything up, they're 2 games under 500, Rob, after 46 games.
It's a lot of talent to be under 500.
22 wins, and if you count the overtime losses, they're 22 and 24. Now, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season, after 46 games, that they'd be 22 and 24, I would have thought you were nuts. But, I mean, at this point, with all the talent on that team, it's really hard to believe that team's played so poorly. But you know what? They may be just getting old. I mean, they're not a young team. They got a lot of old players on their team. Maybe.
Might be getting stale.
Could be. I mean, the coach has been there a long time, too. Quenneville's been there for, 10, 11 years now? I mean, sometimes a trade has to be made. I know they made a deal a couple of weeks ago with the Coyotes to get ex-Ranger Anthony Duclair on the team. But Anthony Duclair is not really a difference maker at this point of his career, so I just don't know about that. Going back to the Eastern Conference of the NHL, again, right now, if you had to pick a team out of the after the Capitals, Devils, and Blue Jackets.
Well, we already know the Capitals aren't going to do anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they may win their first. They'll probably win their first round
game.
Yeah, they win a round, and then they'll lose in the second round. But I'm just talking about making the playoffs. The Capitals, Blue Jackets, and even though the Penguins are struggling the way they are, I just gotta believe that they're not going to be a game over 500 to end the season.
It's the Penguins. I mean, you've been touting the Lightning for a couple of years now. It looks like they're finally gonna.
Well, that's because Stamkos has actually been playing this season, but the Lightning have a real good team. Sometimes sometimes teams just have off years too, and guys get hurt. That's I think what happened to the Lightning last year. But the Lightning have 65 points right now, so they're obviously going to make the playoffs. The Bruins are right there. Boy, they've been a surprise.
Flyers with 2 games before the All-Star break. They're at Detroit. That's tomorrow night. And then they'll be home against the Lightning on Thursday.
So they have that's going to be those are 2 tough games. Don't kid yourself. Those are not easy games.
If you want to make the playoffs, but it is on the road, so
well, that's why I'm saying with
you
Detroit.
get a split there.
Detroit, yeah, they hopefully can get a split. You would think the more winnable game is the Detroit game, but you never know. The Flyers have played well at home. They've had some really good games at home, and they've had some really bad games at home. It seems like
it's the Flyers for you.
Yeah, well, no, it just seems like when they play at home, it seems like they play to the level of whoever they're playing against. I mean, they've had some bizarre losses at home. I mean, they've lost to teams like the the Arizona Coyotes, and then they go and they beat the Devils' brains in. So, you tell me who's the real deal? Because sometimes they're a strange team at home. At home, they've been pretty good on the road. They've had some very quality wins. Now the Rangers, meanwhile, have the Ducks and the Sharks on the road for their 2 games. So I think we can pretty much safely say that those 2 games are going to be losses. So, and some of these other teams. Let's see, because we have. Let's take a look at the Devils who are getting waxed tonight. They're at Boston and then they're home to Nashville. Those are 2 tough games. And then you have the Penguins, although I do think the Penguins are going to make it, and I think we both agree on that. The Penguins have the Hurricanes at home and the Wild at home. I think those are 2 wins. Can't imagine they would lose either one of those games. The Islanders are playing. The Islanders are going to be at Vegas on Thursday. That's a loss. So, and they're playing tonight against the Coyotes, and believe it or not, they're losing 1-0. But I would say the Islanders will probably beat the Coyotes and then lose to the Knights. So, it's there for them. It's there for them. And the Hurricanes, I'll do them just to give them equal time. The Hurricanes are at the Penguins and at the Canadiens. The Hurricanes can certainly go 1-1. 2 games left before the All-Star break, and then the action will return on Tuesday.
All right, back to the Facebook message board. All Eagles on the message board. Tom Arnone checking in. One more win, Rob. Let's go. Confidence level 10. We are winning this game. I 100% agree. Top to bottom, the Eagles have a better roster, a better football team than the New England Patriots. 100%, 100% sold on it. The defensive line better. They're worlds better in the trenches. They have a better running game. The only thing they don't have that the Eagles don't have Tom Brady, and that's because Tom Brady Jr., Carson Wentz, is on injured reserve.
I would give.
What am I missing with the Patriots?
I think
are they besides quarterback? Where are they worlds better than the Eagles?
They just are.
They're not better. They have Gronk.
Yeah.
Ertz is no slouch.
No.
You're worried about the Eagles matching up. I think the Eagles defense is going to match up better with Gronk than their defense is going to match up with Ertz. Ertz is going to be a nightmare for them. Their defense is not that good.
It's not bad, though.
It's not that good.
It's not, as I said, the first 4 games, they were awful. Well, I should say 3 of the first 4 games, they were awful. They were pretty good against the Saints. I mean, if you're able to hold the Saints to 20 in their own building, that's a pretty good effort.
Yeah, but the Saints weren't good at the beginning of the year.
No, I know they weren't.
That's when they had Adrian Peterson still.
Yeah, well, they finally made the right move and got rid of him. They had Kamara. As soon as they discovered Kamara was better, they got rid of him.
Kevin checks in. Depends on how many penalty yards the rest spot the Patriots. I want you to pretend that we are better total team. However, we get penalized like the Jags. It's going to be tough to overcome. Pat's got more yardage from flags than on the ground rushing. Unreal. I mean, like Brad said, I mean,
What penalty? What penalty do you
I
guys
don't
think is
know.
not was not a legitimate penalty?
I
I'm
mean,
not
Boye, I mean, he shoved the guy out of bounds. I mean, you're gonna get that call every time.
exactly. I mean, I'm just not getting. I'm not getting it about everybody complaining about the Patriots penalties yesterday. I mean, what penalty was not a legitimate penalty? Are you going to say that the guy didn't hit Gronkowski in the helmet? Are you
Yeah,
saying that wasn't?
that's a foul.
That's a
these
that's a
days.
in this in today's NFL. That's a penalty. You know, maybe 10 years ago it wasn't, but it is today. And you know, pass interference. They call pass interference all the time on that, but they're going to call it every time if you knock a guy out of bounds. Every time, if you knock a guy out of bounds when the ball's in the air, it's going to be a penalty. That's simple. If it's not a penalty, it's illegal contact. It's still a penalty. Whether it's pass interference or illegal contact, you still can't do that particular move. They'll allow hand fighting, but they're not going to let you take your shoulder and knock a guy out of bounds.
And I hate talking about the refs. It's just you just sound like a baby when you complain about the refs. You really do.
Unless it's, I mean, like the Morelli game against the Panthers, unless it's that ridiculous, you can't really sit there and start talking about the refs. The Jaguars made mistakes. You know, it's not the refs' fault that they had a delay of game penalty. You know, that's not the refs' fault. It's not the refs' fault that Marone decided that he did not want to try scoring at the end of the first half with 57 seconds and 2 timeouts. So I don't know where all this referee stuff is coming in. It's ridiculous. You know, I mean,
Joanne Summers Donner confidence levels of 20.
Well, I wouldn't be so confident. I would say win quietly and lose more quietly. You'd be better off that way.
Well, you know that's not gonna happen. Like
No, I know, but you know,
not
I
gonna
wouldn't
happen.
be.
I mean,
I wouldn't be that.
the Eagles are never this good. The Philadelphia teams are never this good. We're never in the championship. We're always the laughing stock of the league. We always
Well, they're
win the
not.
offseason.
They're not this year. That's for sure.
So, well, the people are
I mean,
jacked. They're in the Super Bowl.
Listen, to be in the Super Bowl with your backup quarterback, that's a statement. I mean, you can't deny what an awesome job that is.
Jeff
It's not easy.
Hostetler,
It's
your
not
backup
easy.
quarterback, Jeff Hostetler. He beat the Bills in his Super Bowl. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. He also beat the Joe Montana led 49ers with Jerry Rice and Roger Craig and all those guys.
Now I'm assuming that the Giants were underdogs in that game against the Bills. I mean, the Bills were loaded.
They were, yeah, actually, I think they were like 9.5.
Dogs?
Yeah. And the Giants were 13-3 that year. Which I think the Giants were 13-3.
What was the Eagles' record this year?
Same record.
And they're only 5.5 points.
Well, listen, both those teams
against the iconic Bills of the '90s, they didn't win, but they had a lot of.
Well, the team that played the Giants,
they had a lot
probably,
of Hall of Famers, like you like to say.
The team that played the Bills, probably, the Bills team that played the Giants, that was probably their best team. And, after a while, when the Giants showed the world how to beat the Bills, all the NFC teams were doing it. They were just basically beating them down and physicaling them, and that was the way to beat them. Because you had to run the ball and just knock them around a lot.
And why can't that recipe work against the Patriots in a few weeks?
That could work. I'm not saying it won't, and I'm not saying it's impossible. It could. I mean, if they are able, listen, Fournette was able to run the ball very effectively in the first half. The Jaguars in the first half completely outplayed the Patriots.
They dominated the game.
But they were only ahead by 4. That was the problem.
14-10 at half?
14-10. And
I only have one eye on the game. I saw the fourth quarter. Some of it.
It was 14-10, and the Jaguars basically kept Brady off the field the majority of the game because Fournette was doing a great job running the ball. Bortles was throwing those crossing patterns, and the Patriots had no answer for it. They weren't able to get anywhere near Bortles. in the second half, as I said, they started playing press coverage and they began blitzing Bortles, and the Jaguars were not as effective in moving the football. And then a couple of times the Patriots were able to pin them deep in their own territory, and inevitably, as it always is with New England, the Jacksonville punter kicked a line drive to Amendola, who returned it to the 30-yard line. And anybody who didn't think that they weren't going to score a touchdown in that drive clearly doesn't pay attention to Tom Brady at that point, because you just knew that somehow they were going to score. But I'll tell you what, that was a gutty win for them. I mean, as I said, all the factors involved in not having Gronk, that was a tough loss for them. And then to be able to win that game, that shows you just what a tough out they're going to be. I mean, this is by no means going to be an easy game for the Philadelphia Eagles, and for you guys to be saying 10, 20, I mean, you guys better understand, if you're able to win the game, God bless. You might be able to pull it out, but it's going to be a tough game.
Look at it reverse. You just want to browbeat the Patriots. It's going to be a tough out for the Patriots to beat the Eagles. A damn tough out.
Oh, it's not going to. Nobody says it's going to be easy. It shouldn't be. Two good teams that clearly the two best teams in each conference. I mean, the Eagles' best team by a mile. When you can win with a backup quarterback, that just shows you just how much better they were than the rest of the NFC. If they had wins, I would say that they would win the game without a question. I don't believe their offense with Nick Foles and the controls against this team in this type of environment can get the job done. That's just how I think, just what I'm thinking about. I mean, this is it. The Super Bowl is a whole different bowl of wax when it comes to playing, and it's going to be a very, very tough game. I mean, there's no home field advantage for either team. You're going to have your lots of people from Boston are going to be there. Lots of people from Philly are going to be there. The Minnesota fans, God only knows who they're going to be rooting for, because that's
probably not the Eagles.
Probably not, but again, they might just root for the NFC because their team is from the NFC. I don't know. That we'll find out when the game's being played. That would be an interesting question, who the Minnesota fans are going to be rooting for. But there will be no question a lot of people from Minnesota at the game, because that's just how it is. I remember when the Giants when they had the Super Bowl in Giants Stadium. I believe that was the Colts and the Seahawks. There were a lot of New York
Broncos,
New York people.
Seahawks.
Yeah, what did I say?
Colts.
The Colts. That's because of Manning. Okay. When the Broncos played the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, there were a lot of people from New York at the game. So I would, you'll probably get a local crowd. So depending on which way they go is, I guess, how it's going to work. But we'll see. I mean, again, it's going to be a tough out for either one of these teams. I don't think anybody could be that overly confident either way that they're just going to run a team out of the building. That I don't see. But I do like, as I said, I like the Patriots. I wouldn't give the Eagles 5 points. If I'm a betting man, I would take the Eagles in the 5 points, because I think it's a close enough game that when you're betting, if the underdog has a chance to win the game, you got to take the points. Am I wrong about that?
No, not.
I mean, that's always been my theory about making selections. If the underdog can win the game, take the points. If you don't think the underdog can win the game, period, then you take the favorite. But if you're going to give me the Eagles in 6 points or 5.5 points, I take the Eagles in 5.5, 6 points. Then I have two ways to win. I can win by the Eagles winning the game, or I can win because I think it could be a field goal game, could be a 4-point game. I think it's going to be right around that area. Yeah, as I said, I could see like a 31-27, 31-28 type of a game. Maybe 34-31, something along those lines. I think it's going to be the over, and I think it's going to be the Patriots. But I would take the Eagles on the line.
I have a hard time seeing anyone scoring 30 points on the Eagles' defense. Extremely hard time. I don't see it.
They're not at home, though, and that seems to make a difference with the Eagles' defense. it hasn't really traveled all that well. So we'll see.
Well, the Sixers are not at home tonight, and they are absolutely putting it on the Memphis Grizzlies. Timothy Luwalu Cabarrot, 20 points, 6 of 7 from 3, having the game of his life. Timothy Luwalu Cabarrot absolutely stinks. I don't know how he's doing this tonight. Joel Embiid's in the mix, only 8 points, 4 rebounds. 8.6 rebounds for Embiid. Ben Simmons, 6 points, 7 assists, 2 rebounds. So, Sixers supporting cast getting it done tonight. I'm really excited to see what the Sixers can do with Fultz back in the mix, because I think Fultz is a real good player. I think he's going to be a real good player. He's going to play the off guard to Simmons. Saw some videos online of him shooting. Looks a lot better. So hopefully can get him back in the mix. And
Well, he's definitely a wild card, but yeah, I mean, boy, oh boy, Embiid only has 8 points and 6 rebounds, and you're still winning by 15. That's pretty impressive.
The Grizzlies are absolutely terrible.
No, I realize that, but still, I mean, the fact that your top player is is very, very quiet. The rest of your guys are crushing it, and that's the mark of a good team. If you take away one guy, you got other guys who can score. And not to mention the fact that I believe J.J. Redick isn't playing, right?
J.J. Redick is injured.
Yeah, so you're doing it without him. Pretty darn
Jared
impressive.
Bayless is injured as well, but I think that's addition by subtraction. That guy's terrible.
Yeah, but Redick is a good player.
Redick is good. Covington has 13 points. I mean,
yeah, I mean they're looking pretty strong. If you remember when we were at the other station before we came here, what did I say about the Sixers this year? About the first half of the season?
They're going
remember?
to be a team that gets better as the season goes on.
Right, and that's exactly
what's logical for a young team.
Which is exactly what's going on. That they were going to struggle a little bit the first half and then turn it on the second half. They're looking good. I mean, I said it before, and I'm going to stick by my statement. I think the Sixers can come in third in their division, without a doubt. Maybe fourth in the conference, maybe third, if Cleveland doesn't start turning it around soon.
I mean, you pump the brakes there. I mean, they're barely in the playoffs right now.
Who, Cleveland? Or the Sixers
No,
are?
the Sixers.
But what is going on with Cleveland?
I don't know. They'll be fine. They'll be in the finals. Don't worry about it.
Well, they're going to get somebody. They'll make a trade. They'll make a trade for somebody. Well, they have Brooklyn's first round pick this year. So I mean, they have the ability to make a trade. That's for sure.
I don't know. They got absolutely smacked on Saturday afternoon by the Oklahoma City Thunder. That up 148 points.
Well, that's an embarrassing game.
Good God, that was at home as well.
Wow. I mean, that's embarrassing when that happens.
But, I mean, you look at the East. I mean, they're not better than Boston. They're not better than Toronto. They're not better than Cleveland, despite their struggles. Miami Heat have been on fire. I don't think the Sixers I don't know. You think the Sixers beat the Heat in a 7-game series?
They could.
First round of the playoffs?
I think they could. Remember, I'm going to say one thing about the Sixers, okay? If they go out there and they play their game and they have fun and they don't tighten up, I think they can beat them. I mean, that it all depends on if they have the.
Maybe they can get up to 4. Maybe you're not that crazy.
Why not? I mean, if you take a look at these standings right now.
I mean, you got the Bucks down there. I thought that the Bucks were going to be good.
Well, Jason Kidd just got canned.
I mean,
so
they just beat the Sixers just beat them on. I think it was Saturday night by about 15, 17 points.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why the you can't tell me why.
He deserved to get fired.
Yeah, he
way
should.
Too much talent for them to be 23 and 22.
He should. Listen, there's no reason why the Sixers can't come in fourth. Maybe third.
Might have something. I mean, the Wizards.
Maybe third. I mean, if Cleveland continues to struggle the way they've been struggling.
The Wizards, the Pacers, the Heat, then the Sixers.
I mean, yeah,
the Heat, the Wizards, the Pacers, and the Sixers.
None of these teams are all that great. I mean, if you take a look at the way the Cavaliers have been playing lately, they've been terrible. I mean, they just barely. I mean, they got smoked.
It's January though.
I know, but they got smoked by the Timberwolves. They got smoked again by the Raptors. Then they lost.
Yeah, but I mean, they're just learning how to play with Isaiah Thomas. He just came back.
I understand that, but boy, they're getting their tails beaten.
J.R. Smith is just smoking way too much weed before the games. He's just not interested in playing defense.
Well,
he
that's
just watches people go by.
That's nothing new with J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is an offensive
He's a
player.
space case.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, but I mean, he's athletic enough to where he can stick.
Oh,
his
he
hand,
is. Listen, I
stick
always
his
liked
hand on the court.
I liked J.R. when he was with the Knicks, but I mean, he's always been
He's
that
a
way.
Space case.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a ton of ability, but you never know where he's coming from.
And then you have Korver. I mean, Korver's a sharpshooter. You know he's not playing defense. I'm surprised they're not better. Crowder's a great defender. The Cavs are gonna be fine.
I still look at them, and I still have a feeling they're gonna try to bring somebody in.
Well, they might try and bring someone in. I mean, you look at the the Pelicans, who have two really premier players in DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis. They're not going anywhere. DeMarcus Cousins is a free agent this summer. Maybe that's something.
Well, let me ask you a question, because here's the rumor I keep hearing. Okay, is DeAndre Jordan
Right.
going to the Cavs? I mean, why wouldn't the Clippers do something like that? The Cavs have the Cavs have the first pick in the draft.
Well, they're
The
not gonna have
Nets,
the first pick in the draft.
Brooklyn Nets are, well, maybe not the first, but it's
18 and 29. The Hawks are worse. The Magic are worse. The Kings are way worse.
the Mavericks are way worse.
The Mavericks are way worse. The Grizzlies, the Suns are bad. I don't know. You got.
You know, the Nets have been
like
a lot.
back
The
end
Nets have
lottery
been.
pick, maybe.
You know what? The Nets have been a lot better than.
They try this year. They have some guys.
It seems like Dinwiddie is that guy. Dinwiddie has been a pretty good player. You know,
Why?
and-
I mean, it depends. I mean, does that Nets pick get you DeAndre Jordan just straight up?
Well, let's say they give him Thompson to clear up some cap space. Let's say they give him Thompson and.
There's no way DeAndre Jordan's making no money though.
Huh?
There's no way DeAndre Jordan's making no money though.
Yeah, but is he making the same amount as Thompson? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Thompson makes close to a max deal.
Okay, so I mean, if the money is the same, which it might be, because I'm sure DeAndre Jordan's making some money, but say you do if you're the Clippers, do you do the
Tristan
deal?
Thompson is LeBron's boy.
I realize that, but do you want to win or not? If you're LeBron, don't you want to win? DeAndre Jordan makes a huge difference. DeAndre Jordan, if he's playing center
He's good.
on the inside, you know people aren't going to go down the lane. I mean, he stops the dribble penetration. I mean,
true.
that defensively, and I think the Cavs are having problems defensively. It just looking at the scores.
The Cavs are having huge problems defensively.
Yeah, that would be something that would make a difference. So I mean, that's a guy. I just don't know if the Clippers would do
I
it.
think they need to make a move roster-wise. I think they have to start trying.
Well, I mean, they could be
You have
taking games off.
148 points at home. That's an effort problem.
Oh, defensively, yeah, I would agree with you. I mean,
I know Oklahoma City's real good. They have Paul George, Melo, and
yeah,
and
but
Russell
148 points.
148 points.
That's
they only
a
played
lot.
48
Yeah,
minutes.
no, there's no way they should be giving up that many points. I mean,
To anybody.
no,
That's
no,
terrible.
No, I mean, and you're right. You're right about defense, because defense is I would say. I mean, obviously, defense is a lot of talent, but you know what? I'd say there's probably 20 to 30% of good defense is big time effort. If you really try to play good defense and play hard defense, you should be okay. You shouldn't be giving up that many points. But I think that's the trade that the Cavaliers have to make if they want to try to win another championship. That's the guy. I mean, I'm looking around the NBA and I'm looking at all these other teams. I mean, is there really anybody else who could make that big of a difference?
I have the numbers here for you guys if you want them.
Yes.
DeAndre Jordan's 22 over the next 2 years, and
Okay.
Tristan Thompson is 16 over the next 3 years.
So it's $6 million
Sort of the
difference.
same.
So they would probably have to take J.R. Smith too. Or if not J.R. Smith, somebody like that.
Yeah, well, they have a trade exception for Kyrie, which is 5.8.
Okay.
And they also have a couple other ones that are like
But you
Richard
could-
Jefferson's 2.5.
Okay, so you
So
could make
trade. Yeah, you
could-
can make it happen.
Yeah, you could make that happen financially, and that was what I was wondering about. Just looking at some of the other players, I mean, there isn't really anybody else that I'm looking at here at these teams that are not going to compete that really can make that big of a difference, are there? I mean, other than DeAndre Jordan, I'm looking in the West. You know, the teams that are competing are obviously
know.
not going to
Marcus
make a
Gasol
move.
maybe from the Grizzlies.
Is he really going to make a difference though?
He's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, he's decent, but I mean, it's not like
he's better offensively than DeAndre Jordan.
yeah, but I don't think DeAndre Jordan's. I don't think that he'll get dunks and stuff. That's what DeAndre Jordan does. He's not an
Right.
offensive player, but the value that you have on defense and the fact that he's, you know, it's very hard to score. It's very hard to score on him. You know, he's not. You're not going to go to the rim against him. He's kind of like the modern day version of Dikembe Mutombo. You know, a little bit, maybe not quite as good offensively as Dikembe was. But I mean, he's tough. He's tough to play against.
And we'll see where Kemba Walker goes from the Hornets, who's an outstanding point guard.
Yeah, you know, and I've heard a lot about him possibly going to the Knicks. I just don't know what the Knicks could possibly offer to Charlotte to get him. I mean, he's real good, and he would definitely be the answer to their problems because
Well,
they're
if you're the Knicks and you want to get Kemba, you're throwing the rebuild out the window.
see the problem
Yeah,
with
but
Kemba is
you're gonna
Kemba's
take-
28, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
If
in the
he's
prime.
28 and what Porzingis is 22, 23?
Right, I mean that's
Their careers
that's
don't-
quite a duo.
Yeah, but their careers don't match up though. That's the problem. I
What do you
mean,
mean? They match up fine.
but he's 5 years older than Porzingis.
So what?
That's the only problem. I mean, but that's
But if you trade for Kemba, you're the Knicks. You're gonna take Batum. You're gonna take veterans, and it's gonna flip. The Hornets will be the one that are tanking, and then
who would the Hornets would obviously want their first round pick, I guess.
no, there would be draft.
but I mean,
there would be draft picks.
Who would the Knicks have to what would a deal like that look like?
Nicolina.
You hate to lose him. I mean,
You might need a third team.
yeah, I mean, I just don't think the Knicks have the kind of players to get it done. I think the Knicks have a couple of players that are going to get traded. I think I could see Courtney Lee getting traded to the right team that needs a sixth man. I could definitely see that happening. I can see the backup center getting traded.
Kyle O'Quinn,
O'Quinn's had a very good year.
fantasy sleeper.
He's been a
If you're
pretty
in
good.
categories you need blocks and steals from your center position. Kyle O'Quinn's your man.
He's okay. I mean, he's
He's a scrapper.
yeah.
I'd
No,
take him on my team.
he's. I'd hate to see the Knicks give him up, but I mean, I don't know what a trade like that would be.
It's still Kyle O'Quinn. I mean, you don't have to
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, they have a
hold
good.
on to him grim death. But
No. I mean, they have. To me, Enes Kanter is fine as a center. I don't have any issues either way with him. He's fine. He's fine as a starting center. You don't have to have a superstar center. You do have to have a star point guard if you're going to win in the NBA, and the Knicks do not have that right now. As a matter of fact, now they're using Burke.
Well, that's
And-
why you make the
to
move
close
for,
games.
for,
Yeah.
for Kemba. And then you have Kemba, Porzingis, Kanter,
And Hardaway.
Hardaway.
That's not a bad team.
Then you have to sign somebody because you
Yeah.
theoretically you would give up all your draft picks to
Charlotte, which,
get Kemba,
yeah.
which Kemba Walker is really good.
But if you look at their draft pick this year, it's probably going to be, 13, 14?
Yeah, they'll probably just miss the playoffs in the East.
Yeah, I mean, they're, at this point, unless they can turn it
Back
around.
into the lottery.
Yeah,
No,
they'll
the
be.
Knicks are not. The Knicks are not good. They're not. They're not going to make a run.
They don't have. I mean, the problem is Jarrett Jack is who they're depending on to be their point guard, and Jarrett Jack is too old to be.
It's not going to get it done in the NBA.
No, not. Jarrett Jack would be fine as a coming off the bench, but Ntilikina cannot. They cannot close games with Ntilikina. He just doesn't score enough, so they play off of him, and they know he's going to pass. So it's just not working. Now they have Trey Burke in there, and unless Trey Burke is going to show something that he hasn't shown throughout his NBA career. Well, he can score. I mean, that he's been able to prove. I mean, I think he was averaging 27 a game in the G League. That's why they called him up. But I mean, and he has been able to score in the NBA. But the problem is, he's always been a ball hog. So I don't know if he's going to be able to.
He always has been a ball hog.
Yeah, no, he has been.
Correct
That's yeah. I mean, he's been a guy who never passes. So I just don't see how that's going to work out as a point guard. I mean, you've got to pass the ball around, and the Knicks do have some guys who can shoot the basket now that who can shoot the ball now that Hardaway's back. I mean, that does make a difference, but they're just a little bit out of the playoffs right now.
I would agree. Anyway, that'll do it for this edition of the Sports Hounds, a super edition of the Sports Hounds. We'll be back next week. Brad will be in Hawaii. We'll have a fill-in guest. I'm sure we'll be breaking down all things Eagles, Patriots, getting you ready for Super Bowl 52.
And I wish you guys good luck with the Super Bowl. I probably will not be back in time for the next show.
No, you
so
don't. You're such a liar.
goodbye.
Anyway, see you next week, everyone.